这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
If you have ever watched someone swear they are flying while clearly not walking straight, you already understand 3 sheets to the wind. This phrase was born long before neon signs, loud music, or crowded bars. It came from a time when the night was truly dark, the sea had no mercy, and men learned lessons the hard way. Back then, words were shaped by danger, not jokes. In the age of sail, ships were alive in a way modern machines are not. They breathed with the wind, leaned with the waves, and complained with every creak of wet wood. A sailing ship did not forgive mistakes. One wrong move could cost cargo, bones, or lives. On those ships, a sheet was a working rope, not a soft thing made for rest. It was one of the most important ropes on board. Sheets controlled the angle and pull of the sails. They decided how the ship met the wind. When sailors spoke of sheets, they spoke with respect, because these ropes held power. When a sheet was tight and handled well, the sail stayed full and strong. The ship cut clean lines through the water. The deck felt steady underfoot. Men could move, work, and even joke. Order ruled the ship. But the sea does not always agree with order. Sometimes a knot slipped. Sometimes a rope rubbed too long against wet wood. Sometimes a tired sailor made a small mistake at the worst possible moment. One sheet would come loose, and the sail would begin to flap. The sound alone raised fear. Canvas snapping in hard wind was a warning every sailor knew. With one loose sheet, the ship pulled to one side. The captain shouted orders. Men ran. Hands burned as they grabbed rope and tried to bring the sail back under control. The ship still obeyed, but barely. If a second sheet came loose, the mood changed fast. The deck tilted more than it should. Barrels rolled. Lanterns swung. The ship stopped answering the helm cleanly. Every step felt unsure, like walking on ice. Then came the worst moment. 3 sheets loose. 3 sails no longer under command. The wind took them, and the ship lost its sense of direction. It lurched forward, then sideways, then back again. It leaned too far and corrected too late. It looked confused, clumsy, almost foolish. Old sailors said it looked drunk. The comparison stuck because it was perfect. The ship staggered the way a man staggered after too much rum. It leaned when it should not. It swayed even when the water seemed calm. It fought itself. Night made everything worse. Without clear stars or moonlight, sailors relied on feel. They felt the ship under their boots. When that feeling turned wrong, fear crept in. Men grabbed railings. Some prayed. Some cursed. All of them knew that a ship 3 sheets to the wind was close to disaster. Weeks or months later, when the sane men finally reached land, the danger faded but the memory stayed. Their bodies were free from waves, but their habits followed them ashore. Ports were rough places. Money came in fast and left faster. Rum flowed like water. Taverns stayed open until voices grew hoarse and stories grew larger with every telling. A sailor would drink, laugh, and drink again. At first, he stood tall. His words were sharp. Then his steps shortened. His balance slipped. He knocked into tables and apologized to chairs. When he tried to walk, he wandered the room instead of crossing it. Other sailors watched and laughed, because laughter kept fear away. Someone would say the words they all knew. He is 3 sheets to the wind. No one needed an explanation. They had all seen the ship. They had all felt the deck tilt. The phrase fit the man perfectly. Over time, the words left the docks. Merchants heard them. Travelers repeated them. Writers borrowed them. The sea slowly disappeared from the picture, but the image remained. By the time sails gave way to engines, most people using the phrase had never touched a sheet or tied a knot. Still, the meaning stayed strong. 3 sheets to the wind meant more than drunk. It meant out of control. There is something honest about this phrase. It does not dress things up. It does not pretend that losing balance is funny or harmless. It carries the memory of danger, even when spoken with a smile. Old port records and sailor tales tell darker sides too. Men who drank until they could not find their ships. Men who slipped from docks into black water. Men who trusted the night and paid for it before sunrise. The phrase followed those stories like a shadow. That is why it survived. It came from real risk. It was tested by storms and bad decisions. Words like that do not fade easily. Today, you hear it in casual talk. Someone leaves a party late, laughing too loudly, promising they are fine. The old phrase rises again. 3 sheets to the wind. Most people say it lightly now, but the image still works. Because balance is not just about alcohol. Life loosens our ropes in other ways. Stress pulls at one line. Anger shakes another. Fear works quietly in the dark. One loose rope may not matter. 2 can be handled. But when too many lines slip at once, we lose direction. The sailors understood this truth without saying it. They knew control was not about force, but about attention. You watch the ropes. You feel the wind. You act before chaos takes over. Think about that the next time you hear the phrase. Picture the ship at night, sails snapping, deck tilting, men bracing themselves against the rail. Then think about your own life. Ask yourself which ropes are tight and which ones are starting to slip. Because everyone drifts now and then. The real danger is not drifting. It is pretending you are still in control when you are already 3 sheets to the wind.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。